Take a look at this. You're looking at a sway bar link that fits both the C6 and the C5 Corvettes, and it fits both the front and the rear sway bars. Now through the years, GM did make improvements and changes to the sway bar link itself, but its dimensions stayed the same, which means it doesn't matter if you have a 1997 C5 Corvette or a C6 Corvette ZR1 2013 or any variant in between. Replacement sway bar links like these from the respective manufacturer Moog will fit the front or the rear of a C6 or C5 Corvette any year. Oh, and if you're not familiar, there's a sway bar on the front and the rear, and each bar has 2 links. And the link's job is to do exactly what it sounds like. It connects the driver's side lower A-arm through a link to the sway bar, goes across the sway bar, and then that connects the passenger side rear A-arm to the sway bar as well. Okay, so the sway bar links connect the sway bar to the lower A-arms on each side, but what exactly do sway bars do? Well, in short, they reduce body roll, also known as sway, when you take corners at speed. Sway bars are essentially a spring, and in this case, a long and kind of unusually shaped spring, but nonetheless, sway bars are in fact a spring. Take a look at this 14-pound high-end radio-controlled truck. It has front and rear sway bars, and it is to scale, so the sway bars on this truck operate the exact same way as they do on the C5 and C6 Corvettes. As an example, as you swerve to the right or turn to the right at speed, the weight of the body shifts to the driver's side, and that force compresses and loads the driver's side suspension, while at the same time it unloads and extends the passenger side suspension. The weight shift from the cornering and the G-forces causes the driver's side tires to have to do most of the work, and it unloads the passenger side tires, which reduces their grip with the surface of the road. So like I hinted at already, the sway bars essentially connect the driver's side A-arms with the passenger side A-arms, and this has the effect of drastically decreasing the amount of body roll, which increases the overall amount of traction and greatly increases handling performance. And as you may already know, cars that are more designed for racing, like the C5 Z06, its sway bars come from the factory bigger and more stiff than regular C5 sway bars, and that again increases their ability to handle going around corners and swerving. The downside is it's a little harsher of a ride when you're on a straight road with potholes. This particular nasty sway bar link came from a friend of mine's 98 C5 convertible. It was in here recently for a new harmonic balancer, but when the car was up in the air, it was obvious that the sway bar links bushings were shot, and these bushings, their only job is to keep clean grease inside the joint and keep water and dirt outside of the joint. And when this boot is compromised, water and dirt quickly form an abrasive paste, and within a few thousand miles, the joint will typically be shot. So while this beautiful C5 was up in the air, it only made sense to go ahead and replace all 4 of the sway bar links, and this is absolutely something you can do as well if yours happen to be shot. So long as you can get your Corvette up off the ground safely, and this video will give you some tips if you're not sure how to do that. And of course, you've got to be a little bit flexible, and a decent creeper will help. Now let's go ahead and replace one of the links on that 98 C5 Corvette so you can see everything that's involved and just how easy it is. I'm going to go ahead and do the passenger side rear on this C5 first, but the procedure for the other 3 links is essentially the same. Take a look at this beauty. Clearly the boots have been shot for a long time, and this is exactly where those screams were coming from. Change me, change me. These factory joints have T40 Torx ends in the shafts, which you could use to hold the shaft while you remove the nuts. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and use a thin vice grips instead, being as how the boots are already shot, and remove the nut with a ratcheting 18mm wrench. Now moving to the bottom, I simply relocate the vice grips, again to the boot side of the joint, and this time I cannot easily get an 18mm ratcheting wrench to fit in this area, so I will use a regular 3/8 inch socket wrench with an 18mm socket instead to remove the nut. Once the final nut is removed, this link can take its assigned seat in the garbage can. And here comes the beautiful new link to the rescue. Notice how it has a much more solid design than the crappy links that came stock on the 98 C5s. Also note, on the new link, the end of the shaft is keyed for an Allen head socket, and again this allows you to safely hold the shaft while you tighten the nut without damaging the boot in any way, so make sure you have the right tools for all of the links on hand before you start the job. The individual ball joints on the link will be very tight, so you may need to use a little force to move them a little bit to get the shafts to line up with the holes in the sway bar and the A-arm. Once you get the shafts into the holes, install the nuts by hand first and make sure they are threaded on correctly. Then put the ratcheting wrench on the nut while you hold the shaft with the Allen head socket wrench setup and proceed to tighten the nut. Then go ahead and repeat the procedure on the lower joint, which will take a little finesse depending on the tools you're using to fit the wrench into the more confined area. Once the nuts are fairly tight, go ahead and finish them off to the torque spec in the manual that you use, and you're done. That's really all there is to it, guys. As long as you can get your C5 or C6 a little bit off the ground, you've got some basic mechanical skills, you can do this job yourself and save quite a bit of money. Now, if you would be so kind, tap that thumbs up below, subscribe so you don't miss the next video, and we'll see you next time.